Psalm 145 real quick. Psalm 145, start reading while you're turning. I will extol thee, my God, O King, and I will bless thy name forever and ever. Every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever and ever. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall praise thy works to another, and shall declare thy mighty acts. I will speak of the glorious honor of thy majesty, and of thy wondrous works. And men shall speak of the might of thy terrible acts, and I will declare thy greatness. They shall abundantly utter the memory of thy great goodness, and shall sing of thy righteousness. I took a minute this morning and talked about the song, How Great Thou Art. As a side note, I really like verse 4, one generation shall praise thy works to another. Something to think about. Not the point of today's devotional. So, How Great Thou Art. It was written in Swedish. The Swedish name is O Stora Gud, which literally translated means O Great God, which is actually how it's sung in Swedish. It's not How Great Thou Art, it's O Stora Gud. The inspiration for the poem came when the author was walking home from church in Sweden and listening to the church bells. A sudden storm got his attention, and then just as suddenly as it had made its appearance, it subsided in a peaceful calm, which Boberg observed over the bay. J. Irving Erickson wrote, Carl Boberg and some friends were returning home where they had participated in an afternoon service. Presently, a thundercloud appeared on the horizon, and soon lightning flashed across the sky. Strong winds swept over the meadows and billowing fields of grain. The thunder pealed in loud claps. Then rain came in cool, fresh showers. In a little while, the storm was over, and a rainbow appeared. When Boberg, the author, had arrived home, he opened the window and saw the beauty of the bay like a year before him. From the woods on the other side of the bay, he heard the song of a bird. The church bells were tolling in the quiet evening. It was this series of sights, sounds, and experiences that inspired the writing of the song. And then, according to his great nephew, he said the origin was that it was a paraphrase of Psalm 8, which actually, if you turn over to Psalm 8 real quick, just want to take a look at that. Psalm 8 is very similar to the word. It said it was basically a paraphrase of Psalm 8, and it was used in the underground church in Sweden in the late 1800s when the Baptists and mission friends were persecuted. And then the author, Carl Boberg himself, said that it was that time of year when everything seemed to be in its richest coloring. The birds were singing in trees and everywhere. It was very warm. A thunderstorm appeared on the horizon, and soon there was thunder and lightning. We had to hurry to shelter, but the storm was soon over and the clear sky appeared. When I came home, I opened my window towards the sea. There evidently had been a funeral, and the bells were playing the tune of When Eternity's Clock Calls My Saved Soul to Its Sabbath Rest. And that evening he wrote the song, O Stora Gud. So the song was originally written as 9 verses, but the version we know today contains only the first 2 verses of that, and then the 3rd and 4th verse were added in 1949 by the American Stuart Hine. And there's a lot more history to the song, and that's not really my purpose today, but I did find it interesting. And like I said, there's a lot more to learn about it if you are so inclined. But what I want to really focus on today is the personal response that each and every one of us has to this song. How Great Thou Art has always had a very special place in my heart. My grandpa Fish, and I was Stephen's grandpa Fish as well, died when I was only 4 years old. I have a few brief memories of him, but I mostly know him through pictures and stories, which, as a side note, will eventually be the case for each and every one of us. Something that maybe we don't like to consider, but eventually we will all live on only in the stories that people tell about us, and how we live on this earth determines the stories that will be told. Anyway, I remember from a very young age being told that How Great Thou Art was my grandpa Fitch's favorite song. And because of that fact alone, from a young age, it became my favorite song as well. And then at some point in my life, I noticed at the bottom of the page in many hymnals, it says that How Great Thou Art is a Swedish song. And as a person of mostly Swedish heritage, this also resonated with me, kind of added to my attraction to the song. But then there's the song itself, and I think all of us, I think How Great Thou Art probably holds a special place in all of our hearts. It's such a beautiful song. The beautiful music has powerful contemplative words, and there are definitely other songs that have the power to stir my soul, but perhaps none greater than How Great Thou Art. And to get a little meta, I guess, the goal of this series of devotionals on well-known hymns is not to teach us the history of these songs. Every once in a while I'll go for the history, and that's often interesting and can add dimension and meaning to the hymn. But the goal is to refresh these songs for us, to dive into the truths behind the songs, to give us something maybe new to consider as we sing the songs, instead of getting stuck in the trap that is so easy to fall into of just singing words off a page with absolutely no meaning, no emotion, nothing from our hearts, just words coming out of our mouth. So quickly, I just want to go through a few of the thoughts that I have when singing How Great Thou Art. I'm not going to go through and use the Bible to back up how great God actually is. I think we all understand, at least to the extent that we can, with our human minds, understand the greatness of God. We all understand that, so I'm not going to spend our time this morning backing that up with the Bible. I think most of us here are past that stage in our spiritual lives. Never meant to be reminded of it, but I'm going to go through and just tell you some of my personal thoughts when I sing this song. As I stated earlier, this song makes me think of my grandma. That's usually the first place that my mind goes when I start singing the song. Sometimes as soon as I hear even the number called out, or the name of the song called out, I'll think of him. And that's true of some other songs. There's other songs that I associate with certain people, and that's a blessing. But I think about the stories a lot of times as I'm singing that I've heard of his faith in God, his strength in the face of death, his desire to praise God with this specific song, among others, despite knowing that he was likely going to die as he did in his early 60s. And then, of course, I think about the words, and I'm not going to take the time this morning to go through all of the words. I just want to hit a few sections, but it starts out, when I in awesome wonder consider all the works thy hands have made. A lot of you know that I really enjoy Utah, especially southern Utah. It's my absolute favorite place to be outdoors. The wonders of his creation. It's too much for words, the wonders of his creation, but I think about that creation when I sing those words, all the works thy hands have made. I think about some of my favorite places, the places that I've had the opportunity to enjoy on this earth. And those thoughts come flooding into my mind when I sing verses like that. In the second verse kind of expands on the first verse, but it says, when through the woods and forest glades I wander, and hear the birds sing sweetly in the trees, when I look down from lofty mountain grandeur, and hear the brook, and feel the gentle breeze. Lofty mountain grandeur. I've been blessed personally over the last 4 or 5 years to spend time in the Rockies, Sierra Nevada. Just last summer I got to visit Lake Tahoe and Grand Canyon, among other places, and the scenes that our God has painted for us on this earth are so stunningly beautiful and so varied. if you think about it, there's no reason that God had to make these beautiful things for us to look at. I believe he created many of these wonders just to show us His magnificence and to remind us of how great He is. Yeah. It differs from singing to singing, depending on the day. But memories of these experiences in God's creation are what pop into my mind as I sing these words. And we've all had different experiences. For you, it may not be Utah or Colorado or California. It may be Maine or Wisconsin or Florida. Florida, I digress. But even if you haven't been able to travel as much, although I think most of us here have traveled a decent bit, there's beauty all around us, and I get it. It may not seem like we're as blessed with natural beauty here in northern Illinois, but it's there. If we take the time to look and listen, the birds singing sweetly in the trees. You know, we're not so far removed from nature that we don't have the opportunities to hear, or that we don't miss out on the opportunity to hear the beauty of the songbird in the trees outside our homes. And there's other natural beauty as well. It's maybe not as in your face as in some places in this world, but it's there, and it's a blessing from God, and it shows the greatness of God. And like I said, even just the birds singing in the trees, it's a wonder of God's creation, a beautiful sound to behold if we just stop and take a minute to appreciate it. If you don't already, I just encourage you to mine your memories and find personal experiences to associate with parts of this song and in other songs as well. I think it's important that we sing hymns in a prayerful manner. I guess I'll say a solemn manner. That doesn't mean we have to sit there stone-faced, because I don't think that's the case at all. But we need to really, truly contemplate the words that we're singing. It's such a dangerous thing, and I believe the vast majority, especially Baptists, have fallen into this trap of singing the same songs over and over and over for decades and decades. And there's nothing wrong with songs. The songs are wonderful and beautiful and remind us of the truths of God and the wonderful things He has made and done for us. Just like with the order of services, things can get stale. As humans, it's easy for us to get lazy and to just fall into a routine, fall into a rut, and eventually we're singing these songs that are magnificent and declare the wonder and majesty of God, but we might as well be singing, you know, our real estate tax bill for all the joy that actually emanates from us. Again, I just encourage us to truly consider the words that we're singing, sing them in a prayerful manner, and try to associate personal experiences with the words that we are singing. It's time, Mom, to come.